The night Haley Anderson disappeared didn't begin with panic or sirens. It began quietly, with unanswered messages and a growing sense that something was wrong. By the time anyone understood the gravity of what had happened, the man responsible was already thousands of miles away. Binghamton, New York, is not the kind of city people associate with violence. A small community surrounded by countryside, known for its Victorian homes and strong focus on education and healthcare, it revolves largely around Binghamton University and its nearly 18,000 students. For years, the city had been a place where young people came to build futures. In March of 2018, that illusion shattered. Haley Anderson was a 22-year-old nursing student nearing graduation, dependable, social, and close with her friends. When she didn't come home on March 7th, her roommates knew something was wrong. By the next morning, her texts and calls went unanswered, and concern turned to fear when she missed a poetry class. Haley shared her location for safety, and when friends checked it, they were alarmed. Her last known location was not her apartment, but the off-campus home of Orlando Teixeira, a fellow nursing student and her former boyfriend, someone they already feared. When her friends arrived at the apartment, the scene felt wrong. The lights were off, the doors were locked, Orlando's car was gone. Acting on instinct and fear, they broke in through a window. Inside the bedroom, they found Haley's body. She was lifeless, lying where she had last trusted someone she knew. Haley had grown up in Westbury, New York, the youngest of 2 daughters in a close family. She was known for her humour, her warmth, and her determination. Nursing wasn't just a career choice for her, it reflected who she was. While studying, she worked at a campus coffee shop and had already secured a job at a hospital emergency room after graduation. Her life was unfolding exactly as planned. Orlando Teixeira entered that life during her later years at university. He was described by many as charming and funny, a dual citizen of the United States and Nicaragua who split his time between countries growing up. On the surface, he seemed kind. But beneath that exterior, his behaviour toward Haley became increasingly controlling. Haley had made it clear she didn't want a committed relationship. She valued her independence and continued to see other people, including an ex-boyfriend. Orlando did not accept this. He showed up uninvited at her home. He grew angry when she spent time with other men. What began as jealousy escalated into something darker. In September 2017, Haley woke to find her car tires slashed, causing hundreds of dollars in damage. She believed Orlando was responsible, especially after learning he knew she had spent the night with someone else. She recorded their confrontation. When she mentioned going to the police, he discouraged it. She chose not to file a report, fearing the consequences it might have on his education. Instead of cutting ties, she kept him in her life, a decision that would prove fatal. On the evening of March 7th, Haley spent time at home with friends, drinking wine and playing games. Around 3 a.m, she left to meet Orlando. Surveillance cameras captured her arriving at his apartment at 3:15 a.m. What happened inside over the next several hours ended her life. Haley was strangled. The autopsy later confirmed death by compression of the neck, with visible bruising consistent with the struggle. Sometime after killing her, Orlando left the apartment, bought sleep aids, returned, and attempted to take his own life. He wrote a letter apologizing to his deceased father, suggesting he believed he would soon join him. The attempt failed. Instead of trying again, Orlando changed course. He packed his belongings, treated his injuries, and drove to JFK International Airport. Within hours, he was on a plane to Nicaragua. Before Haley's body was discovered, Orlando sent a message to his sister saying he had done something terrible. She contacted police, requesting a welfare check. An officer knocked on the apartment door, received no response, and left. By the time police returned later that day, Haley had been found and Orlando was gone. As investigators pieced together surveillance footage and phone records, the truth became clear. The suspect had fled the country, and the situation became legally complex almost immediately. Nicaragua does not have an extradition treaty with the United States. Orlando, as a dual citizen, could not be forced to return. Back in Nicaragua, Orlando was briefly free before being identified at a hospital and arrested. He was later charged with femicide, a crime recognized under Nicaraguan law. Witnesses testified to his obsessive behavior. Evidence showed Haley died in his apartment. Surveillance footage placed her there and showed him leaving alone. During trial, Orlando claimed he had been intoxicated and mentally unstable, insisting he didn't remember killing Haley. The judge rejected the defense. After brief deliberation, he was found guilty and sentenced to 30 years in prison, the maximum allowed. Haley's death sent shockwaves through her university and community. Classes were cancelled. Vigils were held. Her father accepted her diploma posthumously. Though justice came in a foreign courtroom, the loss remains immeasurable. What began as control disguised as affection ended in violence, escape, and a lifetime sentence. Haley Anderson's story is not one of chance or mystery, but of warning signs ignored, boundaries crossed, and a life taken by obsession that refused to let go.